Breaking news, breaking news. Have you been following the Doug Ford, Ronald Reagan ad fiasco? I'm sure you have. Look, this just popped in on my phone, so I just jumped on my channel here. But Epoch Times is just reporting Trump hikes Canada's tariffs by 10% for not pulling the anti tariff ad sooner. This, you want to play ball with Trump? It, he gonna play. He's gonna play. Now, by now, I'm sure a lot of you have seen the Ronald Reagan ad and you've heard how much it costs. And when I was following all this, I was just thinking, a lot of times we say how we're all run by idiots, how all our politicians are so stupid. But now I'm really starting to, I'm not even saying this as a joke. I'm really starting to question the intelligence level of a lot of people that are in charge. You have to be mid to very low IQ to do something like this. And that's why I question the intelligence of Doug Ford, right? This Ronald Reagan ad cost 74 million Canadian dollars. Like the Ontario provincial taxpayer has had to pay for this. It's the equivalent of 54 million US. So this 1 minute ad sponsored by the Ontario provincial government. Okay, why does it cost so much? Because it doesn't cost much to edit that kind of ad. Somebody could edit that ad in a day. I could even edit that ad in a day. It's not that hard to do. But it's 75 million. Why is it 75 million Canadian? Well, it's production and it's airtime. But Doug Ford is planning on running this ad in and multi spots on US television in primarily Republican districts. And what does he think that that is going to accomplish? You think that you're going to see an ad by this Canadian nobody in a Republican district somewhere in the US and take it seriously? You think it's going to change your mind? If you voted for Trump, you voted for Trump. And a stupid ad from Doug Ford is not going to change your mind. But he is preying on the likability of Ronald Reagan, which also I don't like. I don't like this morally whatsoever. Ronald Reagan was a very well liked ex president. I mean, he was one of the most popular US presidents in modern history, both during and after his tenure. He was also an actor too. A lot, I mean, back at the time, there was maybe a little bit of like, who's this Hollywood boy think he's going to come in and be president? I kind of do remember that when I was young and he got elected, but his approval ratings were quite stellar. And he won in 1984 in a landslide election. He won 49 of 50 states, 525 electoral votes. He was running against Walter Mondale, and he won the popular vote. So, I mean, he goes down as a very well liked president. So, it is not a mistake that Doug Ford has used Ronald Reagan to do this anti tariff ad. And Trump got wind of this and said, you need to pull this ad, or I'm not talking, the trade talks are off. And he has every right to do this because this is like, this is like an attack ad for what? In We've lost a whole bunch of auto jobs in Canada in general. Doug Ford is the premier of Ontario. His province is sinking, right? You should be investing that money back into jobs and into businesses, but you took provincial tax money to run ads in the US. And you think that that's a good idea? You think that that's a smart idea. So somebody presented this idea to you. Doug Ford, can we please have $75 million for this ad that we're going to run in the US against Donald Trump, an attack ad? Everything you've done in the past when you threatened to cut off the electricity, you got your pee slapped and you had to go back again and renege on that because that's like an act of war. What you're doing here is, I mean, technically other podcasters have called this foreign interference, and you are trying to, I don't know if it officially is that, but it's just a dumb idea. And you're also capitalizing on the fact you decided to pull this on Monday, right? So that means that you want this to run in the World Series with the Blue Jays and the Dodgers are playing. And everybody in Ontario is hyped up because the Blue Jays are in the World Series. They're on cloud nine because of that. Like everybody's happy about that. So you want to run this ad in the World Series, and a lot of American eyes are going to see it and a lot of Canadian eyes are going to see this. And so you are really trying to taint Trump as this big bad guy who's off the rails. But this is completely going to backfire on you. People's minds are already made up. And in Canada, everybody is so completely Trump deranged as it is. You didn't need to spend the money on this. So you've wasted the tax money of Ontario. And that's why I say you are a very low IQ man to be making a move like this. Like, so somebody presented this to you, or you came up with this idea and you think it's the best idea you've ever heard. Here we go.
I heard that the president heard our ad. I'm sure he wasn't too happy, but it's real because it was coming from the best president the country's ever seen, Ronald Reagan. So it is. It's very effective. It's probably one of the best ads I've ever seen, and it's coming from Ronald Reagan's voice, and it's going to be focused on right across the country, but also in Republican-held areas. Because what I feel, the Reagan Republicans are going to be fighting with the MAGA group, and let's hope Reagan Republicans. I heard.
You think you're going to change the mind of Reagan Republicans? That was your idea behind it. Yeah. And the other thing is people like Elizabeth May. Remember, I don't know if you saw that clip, but she came out of the car somewhere as she was, yeah, I think she was heading into the Parliament building, and somebody asked her about it, and she's like, "Yay, go Doug Ford." Now, Elizabeth May is also another woman, if I might just say the quiet part out loud. She looks like the woman in the office that I don't want to go have lunch with. Like the woman in the office that if you walked into the lunchroom and you had to sit beside her, you'd be like, "Oh, I got to talk to you." You just look like a clown. Like she doesn't look like someone I would go to for solid advice, or I'd want to pick her brain about anything. Same with Doug Ford. He doesn't look like a man where, yeah, he's a thinking man. He's a thinking man. I want to talk to him about the economy and about business, and I want him to be a leader. He doesn't look like a leader to me. He looks like he should be drinking a beer with Norm in Cheers. That's what he looks like. Elizabeth May looks like the crazy woman that you have to invite to the work party potluck because she's going to bring a casserole or something, or you just have to, you're forced to spend time with her. She seems so unlikable, and also not a thinking woman. Maybe she is, I don't know, but she just strikes me as that way, that she's had a couple of martinis, and she literally, I know people joke about that, but she literally comes off like that, like not a thinking woman. Wab Kinew, he looks like a car salesman, like he's trying to get me into a Cadillac or something like that. And he's like, he said something about, oh yeah, if you throw a stone in the lake and you don't hear anything, you did something wrong. But I guess he's trying to say Ford threw a stone and he made a big splash, right? He made a big splash to the detriment of Canadians. And same with David Eby. He's now going to run some attack ads or something like that, and he's going to go on the attack. So I don't think David Eby is low IQ. I think he is low morals. I think that he'll do whatever he needs to do to perpetuate that he is doing the good thing and the right thing and fighting for Canadians, whereas he really isn't. So I mean, all of these people you think are so unintelligent, yet they're in charge. And so either they are smart because they're playing us. Ford is very good friends with Carney. They have these little fireside chats at his cabin. Carney is the ultimate elitist weffer. And many people say he was brought here to bankrupt Canada. And all the people in his pocket across the country are really helping to bankrupt Canada. And this is how it appears to be going. So maybe they're low IQ or not, but they're certainly getting the job of accomplished of people not wanting to start businesses here. There's no stability here. All of a sudden you could be on a property starting a business, and then it's not your property. It's got native title rights. These are the things that are going on in Canada that make it very unappealing to want to start a business here. But yeah, should we look at the Reagan ad? I actually haven't looked at the whole thing. I'm sure you guys have seen it, but I haven't seen it.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. But over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer.
Oh, I don't want to watch any more of this. I feel very manipulated by that. That is completely using Americana and traditional images of hardworking Americans today and manipulating us. Because Reagan actually, even despite what Trump says, Reagan wasn't a big fan of tariffs. Because in that original clip, if you ever watch it, um, he says that he is loath to do this. He is reluctant to do this, but he had to put tariffs on top of Japan. It was something to do with superconductors. So it wasn't like Reagan loved the tariffs and he wanted to do it. It is your prerogative as a president what you do to protect your country, and so that's what Trump is doing. Anyway, so that ad that you just saw, that little snippet of, if you're going to run ads like that in the World Series, it's $500,000 to $1 million for a 30-second spot. And so this is where Ford thinks your tax money is going to manipulate you with those images. It's not going to work. It's totally backfired, and you just got Trump pissed. Absolutely, completely pissed at us, but it's a game. Don't forget it's a game to Trump. He could say that I'm not talking to you guys at all. I'm ending all talks, all trade talks on Saturday, and then by Wednesday, if you play your cards right, he'll resolve it because he is tough but fair. And we're not playing right in Canada. We're being a bunch of little bitches. We totally are. Carney doesn't even speak about this. He's off in Asia. Do you need to go to Asia to make a deal? You can't make a deal here. What deal are you going to make anyway? It's just more talking and flying around. Yet you don't have any carbon, punishment for it. You can use all the carbon you want, Carney. But anyway, yeah. Let me know what you think. I'm very upset with how stupid everybody is and how bad the economy is. All these steps is what is contributing to obliterating us, and yet this is just going on and on. Anita K is how you find me on YouTube. Thank you for spending some time with me in this video, and we'll catch you in the next one. I hope you like this one. Okay, catch you later. Let me know what you think about these low IQ politicians in charge.